Good afternoon. My name is Billy Hayes. Let me close this door. Here we go. We find ourselves at the class called Ask and Apply. This is where you guys ask the Bible question and we look to the Bible for the answers. Then we apply those things to our lives. And this is an outreach by the Adamsville Church of Christ in Adamsville, Alabama, where I serve as the local minister there. And we would love to have you be a part of what's going on here. You can find out everything that's going on here by looking at our website located there behind me at acoconline.com. And if you have a question for us in Ask and Apply, you can send that to me at billy.hayes at acoconline.com. You can see that email address right there behind me. Also, like and subscribe. Send that out to all your folks. Be a part of this class that's going on. This will help all of us grow and learn more. We'd love for you to be a part of what's going on here. We've already said that. And we would love for you to be a part of what's going on here as we meet together. We're going to meet together tomorrow night, and we'd love to see you there. You can go to our website and find an interactive map that will take you from wherever you are geographically all the way to our front door. We'd love to have you be a part of what's going on. Let's look at our question for today. Here's the question. I've heard it said that the first three books of the New Testament are called synoptic gospels because they are so similar, but I do see some differences. Why are there differences if all three writers were writing about the same incidences? Well, that's a great question. Imagine if you could, you and three of your friends standing on a street corner, and as you're standing there, you see a black truck drive and excessively fast down the road, and it hits a white car, and there's a big car accident right there. And as the police come up, they begin to take you individually and ask you questions. And so the first person they ask say, I saw this truck speeding down the road and it hit this car. The next person who's asked says, I saw this black truck speeding down the road and it hit a car. The third person who's asked said, I saw this truck and it hit this white car right here in this intersection. And then the fourth person says, I saw a black truck. And then it was just flying down the road. It hit this white car in the intersection and pushed it through the intersection up onto the sidewalk. Which one of those four accounts is wrong? And you and I would look at it and say, well, none of them are wrong. They're just telling how they saw those things, and some see more details and some not. Well, I think we've discovered the problem. You see, in the Gospels, even though they are inspired, those men write what they see, and by inspiration, what they see is some with more details, some with not as much detail about those same incidents. And perhaps you look and say, yeah, well, preacher, why does one of them mention this account, perhaps, and the other three do not? Well, perhaps it is, and on these we have to have a little bit of supposition, but perhaps it is that the other three were not necessarily there. For example, I'm thinking of when the disciples were sent by Jesus to pick up the colt in which he would ride into Jerusalem. What if something was going on with the other disciples, the other 10 disciples there, that these two were not familiar with or were not present to see? Would they have that firsthand account? They probably would not, because they're somewhere else. So when we look at those things and we begin to apply some simple everyday horse sense to those things begin to make a little more sense, and we begin to see these gospels not paralleling each other in the idea that 4 plus 2 is 6, but rather paralleling each other, and they say everybody got to the number 6. Some details were different from the other. So when you and I read through the scripture, here's how we ought to be reading it. If Matthew, Mark, and Luke have a similar account, We should read all of those together and get all of the divine information that we can find from the biblical account, and then form our opinion from that. It would be David who write, the sum of thy word is truth in the book of the Psalms. The sum, S-U-M, sum, the totality of. What a great question. I hope that you'll continue your study with me as we meet again tomorrow. I'll see you then.